Other 5 or so MPs almost 15 years ago went through a school of training for leadership coming from different parts of the country, and I'm happy that finally she made to come to Parliament. And I'm also happy that all of them were not computer generated, and they are proud to have been elected, just like all the 47 governors were elected by the people of Kenya. The same to senators and everybody else. I think what Honorable Raila Odinga is going through is understood. He has stood for presidency for 4 years, four times. He's lost in all those 4 times. He has gone through difficult times in 2007 with the rest of Kenyans. And so, you know, you go through denial, you go through struggles with yourself. There seems to be no chance for him to stand again in 2022. But I think he's going to be a candidate again.
He says that 3 out of those 4 times, the person who did not win the presidency was declared the winner.
Exactly.
Well, that's normal. You've had coaches, sometimes one of the most famous quotes by Jose Mourinho was that the best team lost. And it's normal when people are dealing with a loss, that usually happens. And I think as Kenyans, we should help Honorable Raila Odinga to come to terms with it slowly. And I think in another 2-3 weeks, it will be okay, it will be fine, and as a country, we'll be able to move forward together.
Eldama, time to react.
Larry, thank you so much. I think what my dear brother Kipchumba, and I'm really happy that we're going to be together in the Senate, what he does not seem to understand, and what Uhuru doesn't seem to understand, is that this election was never about Raila. Raila made it very clear that he's running for the last term. He wants to make right all the wrongs that will impede on justice. And I believe that Raila is a gentleman enough. If these elections were fair, credible, and, you know, transparent, he would be ready to shake hands with anybody. But he can't, because what Raila is doing is that he's fighting for the future generation. When I'm here, people like Raila, people like Orengo, they fought for us, you know? So we too must fight, must support Raila, because what Raila is doing is that he's trying to make sure that our future children, or the future generation of this country, have an election whereby no one will ever question.
Right.
So when Uhuru says that Raila should just be a gentleman enough and shake hands, if we were given a free, credible, you know, and transparent election, my friend. No, let me finish. You know, anyone would be willing to do that. But in a situation whereby people are confused, they think that election is about one individual. It is not.
Larry, you know, a time comes when one has to say enough is enough. In 2007, when Raila ran for presidency, we all knew, and every Kenyan knows, that Raila actually won that race. But because of bloodshed, and he was not willing to see more Kenyans die, he got into an agreement or into the coalition government and said he's going to live to fight another day.
Absolutely.
In 2013, there was no, Jubilee did not clearly win from the onset. They did not get 50+1. But because the courts gave them the victory, Raila decided that he has fought for this democracy for so long. He's not going to take the country again into any shambles. So what he did, he accepted the decision of the High Court, or of the Supreme Court. Now, Raila is faced with, hey, this is the 3rd time this is happening. Doesn't our elections, or doesn't the votes of Kenyan citizens count for anything? Do Kenyans go out and vote and then end up with a result that they did not desire? So as somebody who's been fighting for democracy, and as somebody who's been trying to put Kenya into the highest standards of democracy, is it just going to accept yet a 3rd time that let us just go with it? Or is he going to stand his ground and fight for it and make sure that our electoral processes are brought to where they should be?
I think it's important to, Larry, to say, I think the right question should not be why is Raila losing elections 4 times. The right question should be why Raila is still a candidate in elections.
What do you mean?
Is it in the absence of credible Kenyans who can replace him or who can run for office? Number 2, is Raila the first person to lose elections in this country? In 2002, Uhuru Kenyatta lost elections. He conceded. And in 2007, Uhuru Kenyatta decided to support Mwai Kibaki. In 2013, Uhuru Kenyatta won. So the miscalculations of Raila Odinga, the self-preservation, the desire that it must be him and no one else, is actually the reason of his disastrous performance.
Absolutely.
And it's time for him to wake up to the reality and realize that there are many other Kenyans who would have been a better candidates in his place if he had supported them. And that sometimes you don't have to play number 9 all the time. You know, even players who started playing number 9, you will find others who used to play midfield are now playing defense, and they better play defense, or they can be goalkeepers. And at his age and time, it is now real that having been beaten by 1.5 million votes, and forget about these stories is peddling around.
With
about
computer-generated leaders.
Yeah, yes, that's what I'm saying. Forget about these stories is peddling around about computers. And I don't know any intelligent person who can believe that, because you can only be unschooled to come to anywhere, even near television, and discuss questions about computer. These elections,
Kipchumba, listen.
Let me
you know,
complete
hacking. No, don't just say facts. Put facts on the table.
Just relax. I'm making
because
my point.
the biggest mistake you're making
But
here
just relax.
is to assume that we are all analog and we don't know computers.
Just relax.
You know.
You see, Larry, these elections were manual. Yeah,
That's
the
not true.
voting was manual. I'm the one who drafted the law. So
It doesn't matter whether you drafted the law.
I'm speaking
speak
from
facts.
experience.
The only thing which was manual is the casting of the ballot.
Relax.
Okay.
The casting of
but the
votes,
verification of a
not at
person
all.
was not manual.
The only thing we accepted to do in these elections is to say that we are going to only verify people using electronic device, and we are going to transmit the initial results with a computer. But that does not mean that it's final. No. The only credible election... relax. The only credible results
facts.
that are going to be presented before the Supreme Court is a result that was voted manually, counted manually, tallied manually, and transmitted manually. In fact, the reason why there are 50,000 papers which have been presented to the Supreme Court. Tomorrow, when evidence is laid before the court, and
two weeks after
the Wait, just
announcement of the
once the case begins in court, the computers become completely irrelevant because we were not doing computer voting. So there is a creation, because some of these people think that Kenyans are stupid. There is an imagination, they want to create an imagination that we are voting electronically. We never voted electronically.
Let me respond to
we
that.
Voted
because
manually.
I think
We
you
counted
are
the results.
misrepresenting
Relax,
facts,
like
Kipchumba.
that.
No, I'm not going to relax and let you
we are on TV.
bluff
You
and
love
bluff
your-
and
you
bluff
love
and
your
talk
chance.
about
You love
an
your
election which was manual.
Just relax.
No, I'm not going to relax and have you lie to
Because-
people. We're not stupid.
No, you will have your chance.
What is incorrect
No,
about what he said?
What he's saying-
because he's,
No, hold on.
The voting was
Can I
manual.
complete?
The casting
Can I
of the
complete?
votes was
Hold on,
manual.
Unless you
just
voted
complete.
unless you
Just
voted in
complete.
analog electronically. So this is what happens when you go to a polling station. You get a manual paper. You tick the candidate you want. You drop it manually to a box. The voting day closes in the evening. All the papers are counted manually.
One by one.
2, 3,
Yes.
4, 5. They're tallied using a pen. They are added, and there is a form called 34A. That is the primary elections document that will be presented in court.
Right.
And it's a manual document. The only thing we did in that law, because I and Orengo and Kiraitu and others drafted that law, what we did was to say, for the initial transmission results, in fact, Senator Orengo, because he was the co-chair, was insisting that the results, when they come from polling station, we
Right.
just transmit immediately to the tallying center
Yes.
without having a copy of a paper. But our amendment from
Which
Jubilee
tallying
side
center?
just-
The
just
constituency
the-
tallying
No,
center.
the polling station. Forget about the constituency. So what we did in the law was to, because of Jubilee pushing in the committee, we ensure that you don't just send the results, you also scan a copy of Form 34A so
All right.
that you can
Good.
follow it.
Great. So-
However,
You need to finish, we'll comment, yes.
however,
You
let's
don't have-
agree. However, we made it clear that the final results that are going to be presented are the manual results that are written in the Form 34A. That's why when the discussion goes place,
Let me just respond
whether the computer was hacked or was not hacked, it's immaterial. What is important is when you sum total of
Okay.
40,000 Form 34A, who won the elections? Uhuru Kenyatta won fair and square,
No, it's
square
okay.
by more than 1.5 billion.
All right, let's leave it there for the moment because Sabina Shege has now joined us. Congratulations on winning back your seat in Muranga.
Thank you very much.
We're talking about President Kenyatta's comments in Bomet asking Raila Odinga to do the honorable thing like Isaac Ruto and accept defeat. Go ahead. He says that
it's very
Uhuru Kenyatta
interesting.
won by 1.5
No,
million
I
votes.
don't even want to talk about that. I want to respond to what you're saying. This election, the only part which was manual was the part whereby you come in, you pick your ballot, you go in and vote. But the transmission of listen, the counting is also manual.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with you. But the transmission of results, don't misrepresent facts here. Listen, no. I gave you time to talk, so you should just shut up and listen. What you do is very simple. You transmit the results electronically. You identify the voter electronically. And what the law says, which I want to remind you, even if you're the one who drafted that law, is that when you transmit the results, you also you scan. You scan the Form
I've just said
34
that.
and you send it in.
I've
The
just said
problem is this. It did not say you come and scan them in Nairobi. It says you scan them at the polling station and you transmit them there.
So is it your contention that what's in those Form 34As is different from what was declared? Hang on.
Contradicting yourself.
No,
contradicting
it's
myself.
not.
I am not
identify,
contradicting
when you want to
myself.
determine,
What you're trying to do is that you're trying to
when you want to determine
lie to
who
Kenyans.
won. No. When you want to determine who won the elections, where do you go? Do you go to a computer or you go to Form 34A?
You go to which?
Okay.
The original
Wait,
Form
let me
34A is
No, I'll
original
answer his
one.
question.
You go to
Original Form
absolutely.
34A.
Let me answer his
But-
question.
But listen,
Exactly.
listen.
So the whole story about
Murkomen-
computer is
No,
that
no.
I need to understand where the disagreement is, because is it your
No, the
contention,
disagreement-
therefore, that the result that was declared by IEBC
manual.
is it different from what the Form
You see-
34As will prove?
No. You see what he's saying?
I think there are cases where
Wait.
you'll find that is the case.
There's a variance.
Yes, let me
Yes.
tell you this. This is what is supposed to have happened. From the polling station,
The polling station.
the results were supposed to be transmitted to the constituency tallying center.
And at the same
Just
time,
keep quiet. Just leave it. Now, when you get to the constituency tallying center, you tally the results from all those polling stations. And what gets to the national tallying center is the results from 290 constituencies.
Yes.
Tallied results in the 290 constituencies. In their wisdom, in what they were trying to do, they were transmitting results from polling station to the national. And that's what they were using.
All right.
Okay?
That is
In that
because I've been
process,
listening.
Yes.
you end up tampering with the original results. And that's why you could not produce
Not at all.
original Form
The law
34A.
says-
Hang on.
Let's talk about the law.
Let's
So that she can
Sabina.
see. Let's talk
Yes,
about the law.
real quick.
The law says you in the polling station you scan the Form 34A
Very good.
and send to constituency.
Did you do that?
Yes.
Wait, and send to the. I'm not an IBC.
Did they
you
do
send
that?
from at polling station, send to the constituency, and at the same time to the national center.
Okay.
However, the reason why we sat in Bomas for more than 5 days waiting for the ultimate results was because we were waiting for Form 34B, which is the authentic results for declaration of presidential elections
Yes.
by constituency returning officer,
All right.
which is final,
No,
and which
no.
actually was for
It's
confirmed.
because you
Can
were-
All right,
I- can you
ladies,
hold on?
gentlemen, let me get Sabina in
Which was
here.
confirmed-
I need-
No,
it was
no,
confirmed
let-
by the
Murkomen.
Supreme Court.
Great.
After NASA went to
It's
court,
because you are
it was
ignoring constituency
declared-
tallying
Okay.
It
and
was-
tallying
it was
directly from
declared by
polling
law.
stations.
I
It was
don't
declared
think
by
so.
law.
Ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Sabina, go ahead.
I request some attention.
Yes, Sabina,
Thank
go
you very
ahead.
much.
We'll give you all the attention.
And I think I've been listening.
Yes.
And out of experience, I was one person who was, I had to wait for my results from the county level. And we had to wait for all the constituencies to finish their tallying so that then we can also have our county. And I think at the same time, the same experience went through the presidential candidates. And for us, we experienced some delays. I was given my certificate on a Saturday.
Yes.
Because they had to wait for the returning officers first to confirm the presidential ballot papers and
Yes.
actually the tallying.
Yes.
And I think it's good for us once to accept that in any election, and I think some of all of us here were candidates, that everybody, even the one who got 100 votes, even the one who got 2 votes, there were people who told them they would win.
Yes.
And they believed in it. And that's why they didn't give up. And that's why they went till the last. Actually, some of them, they were defeated at the nominations. Some of them chose to say the nominations how they were. For sure, there are some areas that the nominations were not fair. And we saw these people winning finally. But at the end of the day, we all went for a general election. And when we waited, and it has been a process, as Murkomen said, from Parliament making laws and making sure the IBC officials, all of them went home with a new team for the commissioners. And again, the processes of election. I want to say, Riley, out of my experience from 2013, because now I've been re-elected again as Muranga Women Rep. 2017 was above par, and I think everybody, even the observers, agreed on it.
Disagree.
All the observers gave this election
They
a clean
gave,
bill of health.
and let me tell you,
The African Union, the East African Community, the Carter
everybody.
Center.
But let me ask you, what was
I
the
think
role
I
of
need to
the-
finish.
Let her
because
finish
I
first.
have been listening to
Let her
it.
finish, yes, Sabina.
And secondly, from my own again experience, when we had to wait for the presidential tally to be done, there are those the Form 34s and the 34B, and we all waited, and finally the elections and the results were announced at Bomas. And I think the honorable way for either side, Jubilee or the NASA team, I don't know whether to call it ODM or NASA, because NASA didn't have a presidential candidate. ODM had a presidential candidate. So, well, I don't know how to call it.
NASA, don't
Let me call it ODM, because that they had a presidential candidate. For anything, if anybody is protesting, they should actually follow the procedures and go to court. But it is very disheartening for Kenyans, and for myself as a candidate who went through. Somebody who stood and said, IBC are almost to announce the results, but we are not going to court because court is not a solution. Then they stay one day and tell Kenyans, don't go to work on a Monday. Then they stay again and tell Kenyans, okay, because Kenyans went to work and said, if you don't go to work, are you going to feed us? And these were hard questions.
They say some of you are computer-generated leaders.
But I am not, and I think you can look at me. I don't look, I'm not generated by computer. Let me finish. And so people who say we are not going to court, then they tell people don't go to work, but people disagree with them and go to work. Then finally they say we are going to court. At the same time they are challenging and saying, yes, we are in a process, we are in court, but we are not trusting. I think we need to be sincere with ourselves.
Right.
And when we say we are Democrats, when we say we are patriotic to this nation, we need to mean our words. We just don't mean to just talk and say we are Democrats or we are patriotic. If anybody is contesting and saying, yes, the Form 34, Form 34A or B were tampered with, kindly table evidence. And what I want to tell people is that Kenyans are tired. I was there in 2007. I was a journalist like
Larry,
you.
you're going to give us
I was
a
in the
chance to
media.
Yes, Rosa, you
And I
have a chance.
and I know what, it's not
Then
talking,
we
these are
can,
facts. I was in the media. I stayed in a media house for actually almost 5 days because we couldn't get presenters to come in. Because you know what happened, all of us know the history of this nation. Anybody who would like to take us back to 2007, that a person is insane. And I would like to say that clearly.
Okay.
Because this nation, we casted our ballots. And anybody with doubts, come with the forms where there's contention or where you feel that you are actually or somebody didn't give the right, whether it's IBC, because I was a candidate. So I was not my own referee.
Okay.
And if anybody saying I didn't win fairly, then go to court.
Okay.
Bring your papers.
Rosa
But
Boye.
don't go to
Larry,
court and again and start saying we don't trust the court. And you are the one who went to court.
Larry, I want you to be as
So
patient
where
as
does
you
this NASA
with
come
me
ODM stand?
as
Okay,
you
Rosa
are-
Boye,
as
go
you
for
are
it.
with Sabina.
Yes.
First of all, I want to say this. The problem is, and I like what he said, that results were supposed to be transmitted from the polling station, and as the results are being transmitted, Form 34As should have been scanned alongside that.
Correct, that's the law.
If
Then
that
that's
had
never
been done and that law had been followed, it would not have taken us almost 2 weeks to produce Form 34As. Remember, NASA kept on asking where this Form 34As, because that is where you'd get the raw results. But Form 34As were only made available yesterday. How is that possible? If they were being scanned, no, just hold on.
That's a lie.
When were they taken? They have not been available. I think IBC had 30,000 and could not get the
I will
other
tell you
10.
what happened.
Anyway, whatever. So if they were being done simultaneously, you'd not have had a lapse of 2 weeks before they could be produced.
No,
Just
I
keep
want to
quiet.
explain
No.
that.
Let her finish.
I
Let her
listen
finish.
to you.
Yes.
I want to talk about the role of observers, because she's candidly said that observers gave 100% whatever for these elections. Our election process has evolved. In the olden days, there was a lot of vote buying or people being given money in the queues. There was a lot of violence. So whenever the observers came, they particularly paid attention to those two items. Is there any vote buying on the queue? Just listen to me. And is there violence? But the process has evolved. And with the transmission of results that we had this time, I don't think the observers had any keen interest in how these results were being transmitted. We are all agreed that voter turnout was great. We are all agreed that voting itself was largely peaceful, and our issue is with the transmission of those results. That is where the problem was. And just hold it. And the observers really played no role in ensuring or checking or just bothering to see if that was credible.
Great.
Larry,
Murkomen response.
Larry, if the problem is only transmission, then it's laughable. I understand why they are panicking and saying that the court is not final. Because, Larry, we are intelligent people. The law says that the final document for declaration of presidential election is from 34B.
Yes.
Which is tallied by the constituency returning officer. That position was not just provided for in law, it was actually confirmed by the Court of Appeal because NASA went to court. And when they went to court, they said, and they celebrated, you remember the celebrations, that now elections cannot be rigged, the results will be final in the constitution.
Yes.
Number two,
circumvented.
by law.
Just
relax, my friend. You
You're
will have your time.
talking
You
way
will
too
have your
much.
time.
Yes.
Number two,
Yes,
number two, and most important, is that every polling station had every presidential elections agent. Yeah. And when you fill Form 34A in the polling station, it is signed, a copy is given to every agent. If an agent of NASA felt like in Kakimiti polling station in Elgeyo Marakwet County, that the results are not tallying with whatever, what the simple thing was, they keep their evidence, and as Sabina said, they just prepare for the day of election petition. In the election petition day, computers will not be relevant. It will be that document that agent from the polling station will carry and say, look, there's a variance between what I have and the results that has been
Great.
Ledama. The biggest problem we have as a country is the mistrust. Okay? And I sit here and listen to Kipchumba talking. And a lot of people don't know what 34A, 34B, 34C is. 34A is the raw document. That is the only place we can get facts. 34B is a spreadsheet. You take 34A forms and then you come and compute them together. So you cannot come and tell me that is a final. If the law is very clear, just listen.
I have a question then.
Listen, if the law is very clear that when the results are announced, they are transmitted to the constituency and also to the tallying center. Why was that not done?
So 34B was the final, but you circumvented that process and dealt from polling station direct to national.
Rosa actually,
do we have any
let me
discrepancy?
just say, Sabina, one thing. Rosa's position is different from Ledama's. You can see Rosa understands the law.
Are you saying that what Rosa and Ledama are saying are two different things?
Different things. No, Rosa actually, our only contention was, and she understands the position, she's just saying that what came to the constituency, our contention is that what came to the constituency was delayed and is not authentic. And that is where now the Supreme Court will look at and say...
Is that a summary of what you're saying?
Is
that a summary of what you're saying?
They circumvented the process.
Yeah.
Instead of the polling stations being brought and tallied at the constituency, and this being the final result that is only transmitted for national tallying, they circumvented this process of the constituency and reported directly from the polling station to national. No, it's not. Really? The constitution or the law says that the final result is the tallying done at the constituency.
Assuming that Rosa is right, just one more.
Yes. Don't assume she is right.
Assuming that she's right, and she's not. She's not because the reason why she's not right is because partly she's right. That there is also.
What are you saying?
What
are you saying? Partly she's not.
She's only partly right. To the extent that the results are transmitted from polling station to the constituency, she's right. But she's forgetting that same law said you transmit to the constituency at the same time to the national center.
But the national center had no business tallying from polling station. Get me right. They did.
Sabina,
you guys did.
Sabina, say this before I go to break. Rosa Boy, let Sabina say this before I go to break. Yes.
Because she's declared as a winner, whether she's contesting that whatever results she received were different. And question number 2, where are the discrepancies? If whatever was tallied from the polling station to the national, and whatever was tallied from the constituency to the national, is there any discrepancy? That's the first question. Secondly, I had my own tallying center.
Yes.
For me, I relied from what came from the polling station.
From your agent.
Actually, that's the most authentic result. Because from the tallying centers, then going to the constituency, we actually discovered that when maybe the officers were doing the announcement, there was some... might be discrepancies, and we raised them because I heard from the polling station. So for me, I'll be very happy not to receive actually the total sum of a constituency is from a polling center.
Supposed to be, yes.
So the polling center is actually the most authentic result.
Yes.
And I should be happy actually when you transmit from the polling center to the national. But the question is, Can you name
The discrepancy.
the discrepancies?
Wait.
Now,
That's what
Kenyans.
if you want to hack and for
No,
hacking
no,
purposes,
it's not about hacking.
easier
Okay.
to hack from
I
polling
have,
station if
Rally.
you're transmitting from polling station
Rally,
to national.
I have-
As opposed
I have-
to having it tallied at the constituency.
Yes,
Rally,
Sabina.
I have my documents from my polling centers. I have what was announced at the polling centers.
Yes.
I have my documents from the constituencies because
Yes.
for me, I'm almost at the presidential level because I'm
Because you
at
have
the
to,
county.
all of the,
So I have
all
my
of
signed
Murang'a
document
County.
from a
Yes.
polling center.
Yes.
And I have my documents from the constituencies. So my document from the constituencies must tally
your
from the,
agent.
The
polling
polling
center
stations.
because I had an agent from every polling station.
Absolutely.
Then from there, then it comes to the county. So if there was any discrepancy, then I can raise questions. And I can go to
In
court.
short,
And I want to ask them this
therein
question.
lies the case.
The question
In
is,
short.
do you guys have any polling station or any constituency that gave different results from what came from the polling centers to the constituencies to the counties to the national?
Sabina, without going into detail,
Do we have any? No,
therein
name.
lies the case.
No, let me tell you, don't take
Therein
Kenyans round.
lies the case.
No, don't
Okay.
take Kenyans round.
Sabina, you said something
Tell
which I
us.
want to pick up on.
Yeah, but
Really
tell us
quickly,
where-
I have to go to break. We're
Name
coming
it.
back.
You
Let
talked
Dama,
about
yes.
34As. Okay?
Yeah.
Then my question to you is this. If the 34As were scanned and sent to IBC, why were they not provided to NASA when they requested them?
But,
But
they are
you
there
have
now.
your
They're
agents.
available.
You have your agent. No,
Do you have
not
any
even that.
questions?
You have your
Documentation.
40,000
But
agents.
I may your agents.
Why
My
do you-
agent
why
said
do you have to
I'm
worry about that?
I am not a
Because
presidential
a-
candidate.
and
But
NASA
my agent
agents
had
were
no.
kicked out of polling
NASA
stations.
did not
Okay.
need
Where were they
transmitted
kicked out?
results.
You see?
No,
They
NASA did not
complained.
need. But let me explain
You
something.
know,
But where were they
Kipchumba-
kicked
And I
out?
think people should read the law. The Form 34A, which is from polling station, is the one that has original results. But sometimes it has rejected ballot papers. No, listen.
Let me ask you.
The person who is going to determine the validity of a rejected ballot paper is the returning officer at the constituency. When it reaches constituency, any contested rejected paper, the returning officer then will say, is it going for Mr. X or Mr. Y, and gives the final presidential results through at Form 34B.
Please, I gotta ask this
Now,
question.
once you have all that,
Okay.
your agent in your
Can we
polling
start
station
doing the
has
names?
the original 34A.
This
No,
All
no,
right.
let's say at the original 34A,
Yeah.
and your agent in the constituency at 34B. You do not need a form from IBC.
You know,
you just needed to
Kipchumba,
wait
you're
the results.
taking-
No, you
you're
just need to
taking
wait
us
the
as if
results.
we are
The
fools.
results are
Let me tell you
offered
something.
No.
and prepare to go to
One
court.
thing, no, hold on. If you're saying that everybody needs to know the law,
Yeah.
and I'll refer you back to that law that you keep on talking about, okay? When the Kims, the way they were supposed to work,
Computers
no,
and
just
materials.
listen, okay? If the scanning was supposed to be done once and it cannot be done twice, what was an exercise book? How did it find itself in the IBC database?
Listen,
My question
listen,
remains.
ladies,
My question
gentlemen.
remains.
Yes,
Can I answer his question?
I have to
Do
go
we
to a
have
break.
names?
Why are you answering a question for the
He has asked
IBC?
the question.
Yeah.
Why are you
He has
answering a
asked
question?
no,
Why are you
yeah,
answering
yeah,
a
one
question
and
for
the same thing,
IBC?
one and the same thing.
Do you know why this exercise book ended up in the portal?
That is
One
where
and the
I'm-
same
that's
thing.
where I'm coming.
Where?
Do you have a simple answer?
I want to answer
Answer
this
it.
way.
Yes.
When NASA, what
No,
NASA
don't
should be
say
doing,
NASA.
what NASA
No, no,
should
no.
be doing,
Answer
or
the-
ODM.
answer the question
listen,
that I
what
asked.
ODM should be doing is to say, in polling station Y,
Yes.
our agent has the original document signed for
Present.
a form
That's-
from
that's for the
IBC.
Supreme Court to
However,
decide.
the one
No,
which
no,
was
no,
sent
no.
was an exercise book.
That's why I'm
Which is a
asking.
lie.
Okay.
That's why I'm asking for names
Right.
of the polling
Specific
stations.
polling
or
stations
You're not
where
gonna
they're
give those
varied.
names
Why
here.
should
That's
we-
for the Supreme
that's
Then why are you
Court.
talking?
why
Then
you
don't
asking us
confuse
to
Kenya.
All right.
No, we're not.
At
Ladies
least-
and
at least
gentlemen.
finally we have agreed
no,
the,
no.
the evidence is manual. So
Exactly.
that's computer business is in a thing.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have to
Therein
take a
lies the
break.
case. Wait for it in Supreme Court.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's leave it there for the moment. we're gonna. It is underwhelming, he says. We're gonna come back in a moment to discuss more with my panel. Stick around. enough tea in the world for the conversation we're having right here. All of these are county representatives, county leaders. Elgeyo Marakwet, Kipchumba Murkomen, Kisumu County Woman Rep, elect Rosa Buyu is here, Muranga Woman Rep, elect again, second time, Sabina Chege, and Narok Senator-elect Ledama Olekina. You guys were having a discussion about how many votes each of you brought to your respective coalitions, which was fascinating during the break. How many votes did you bring for NASA in Narok?
I brought over 180,000, but they stole some.
The computer took
some.
How
so
many?
Here's what I'm going to tell you. I would like to request that we become sober. We are talking about the future of this nation. These are very serious matters, okay? This country deserves to have leaders who will fight for the future generation. Kipchumba, it doesn't matter how much money I give you or how much power I give you. If we don't fight about this election, then there's no point of us having an election in future. Okay? This election, no, Sabina, I've listened to you talk and I've listened to Kipchumba shout here. This election was not about two individuals. It was not about Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga. It is about the future of this nation. And that is what we ought to be discussing here.
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
The Supreme Court will determine the facts. They'll be provided with the facts. The only prayer that we have with the Supreme Court is that each of those judges should write their own decision. They should write it in a simple language that everyone should understand.
All right.
You know? So in this case, if we fight about the integrity of the election, we need to remember that we have a future in this country. You know, let's not just shout. Let us be very sober and discuss real facts.
Larry,
Yes.
Olekina and my friend Rosa here are on a light note. They have just arrived in town. In terms of,
I've been in this town for a long
they've just
time.
been elected. They've
I
just
just
been
haven't
elected.
been carrying my bags.
They've
but
just
I'm
been
in
elected.
town.
I'm just
For
saying.
10 years,
I
I
already
haven't
said
been
on a light note. I know that. I know that. I'm just saying on a light note. And we have had this conversation. I have, in every reform-related processes in Parliament, I have chaired some. I have been a member in some of them. And my colleague here has been part and parcel, including education reforms as a chair of education. We care about this country. The reason why 54% of Kenyans voted for Uhuru Kenyatta is because they can see the future of the republic is safe in his hands. Sure. And those who voted for Raila Odinga, 42% or so, did not also say that they didn't like him. They liked him. But ultimately, we must establish a republic that respects the constitutional order, that says that once you have an election, you must complete an election. The winner must be, the loser must congratulate the winner, but the winner must not load over the rest who do not vote for them.
Great.
And the unfortunate
Kipchumba, you must start making shorter points.
No, but the unfortunate thing we are having is that we have an old man who should be...
Let him finish his point. Let him finish his point. Let him finish his point.
Let us have respect. It's not about being old.
No, relax.
Just
relax.
He's a honorable member.
Olekina.
Just refer to
But
him.
he's not referring to. How do you know which old man
No,
he's
I
referring to?
don't even know the old man I'm talking about.
you're
Let me
talking
complete.
He's talking about the former president, Mike Kibaki.
Might be even,
That's what
even
you're
more.
talking about. So
It is better when it's Kibaki.
But no, it's
We
not.
got you.
It's not
But the
better when
point
it's
is this.
Kibaki.
The point is this. We have an old man who, in African
old
culture, by all standards, is our father, and actually is my grandfather, and we call him Baba. Instead of living by the principles of the Constitution that he believes that he fought for, he is now contradicting every sentence of the Constitution. And I think the conscience of every
How is he
Kenyan-
contradicting every sentence
because
of the Constitution?
honestly,
How can you make a claim like that?
I mean, I worked with Raila Odinga. I was in Yes campaign
I was just
against
about
all odds.
to remind you of that.
I worked with him.
Even
I
in
mean,
the devolution
I mean,
process, I was
do
about
you know
to
many
remind
people
you.
are telling Olekina here that you are in a party that was founded by Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. So the point I'm trying to say is this: that as a country, we must learn to live by the constitutional principles. That says that you have an election, you have a dispute, you go to court. You reach the court, the determination.
But isn't that what they have done?
They
have a dispute.
No. The one that worries me most is for one to wake up one morning and say, oh, you know, it doesn't matter even what the courts are going to decide. We're going to fight. We're going to do.
In fact, let me play that soundbite for you. Let's leave it. Let me play. He didn't say they're going to fight, so let me play the exact soundbite. Let me play the exact soundbite that Raila Odinga said in Mombasa yesterday at the inauguration of Governor Ali Hassan Joho.
Elections should end with the counting of votes. The Supreme Court is made up of 7 judges. The discretion of 7 individuals however wise, can neither represent nor substitute the voice of 15 million people. 7 individuals can be intimidated, they can be compromised, and they can make genuine mistakes. Kenyans are still trying to understand what exactly happened in the Supreme Court of 2013, when a decision about their votes was delivered in minutes and a paragraph.
Your reaction, Sabina, to what the Raila Odinga said?
Now, it was in English, and I'm a Kikuyu, and
So
for sure,
she doesn't understand
I fully
English.
understand, and I think one thing, even if it's translated in Luo, I would understand because I'm a Kenyan. That's one thing. When you say elections should have ended at voting,
Yes.
That's counting.
At counting.
Counting.
Yes.
then we know the results of the elections. And the IBC announced at that point, at the counting, and now we know who is the winner. And so what Raila Amolo Odinga said yesterday, that he appreciates that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is the president of this Republic of Kenya, or he was declared the winner. So when you say Supreme Court has only 7 Kenyans, let me call them Kenyans, and you say you are doubting their wisdom, and at the same time you have taken...
He said, however wise, they cannot
Exactly.
represent
however wise,
the
that
destiny
means-
of 15 million
That
people.
means the
Yes.
wise is their wisdom.
Yes.
Now that I
Let
see
me
This
finish.
is not new, by the
No.
way. Hang on. This is not
Yeah,
new
that's
because
what you
in the
say.
last presidential petition,
okay.
Uhuru Kenyatta did say some 6 people, referring to the Supreme Court judges then.
It's okay, but he said the 7 guys,
Yes.
however wise, Kenyans spoke.
Larry, I speak
So
English and I
it's
understand
okay.
English.
Let her
me
finish.
finish.
Yes.
And because maybe I might have problems with English, but I'm okay. The thing is, I've said I can understand Luo and the other languages in Kenya. And what I want to say is this. If you're telling us, then you're doubting the wisdom of the 7 guys, and you have gone to seek for these people to intervene on your behalf.
NASA's argument,
actually,
argument
Then
is that the
they
courts
have a
cannot
problem.
handle
So
electoral
why are you in court
impunity.
then?
NASA's argument, Sabina, is that the courts alone cannot handle
Let me ask you,
electoral
Rani.
impunity.
Then it's
So that-
only that
Can
when
I
the
say
courts they rule on your favor,
No,
you trust them.
That's
They
not
will
even
rule.
what
not
Raila
true.
is saying.
Hang on, Rosa.
No, actually, I wanted to respond.
what
Give
Raila-
them-
You get... Hang on.
No,
Let
let them
respond to you.
answer then,
What Raila-
because we might need to understand the English. that we
Yeah,
don't
I
Let them
speak
explain.
English and
Yeah,
understand English, and I
most
just want to
likely.
interpret and advise you on what Raila was actually saying. Raila is saying 15 million Kenyans got out to vote. The vote of each of those 15 million Kenyans must count.
And that is our position.
Can I continue?
Yes, Rosa.
Can
yes.
I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, this is Raila speaking in me, so you'd better listen. The vote of each of those 15 million Kenyans must count
Agreed.
in an effective electoral process. So when the 15 million people voted and their votes have been counted, that should actually be final. And therefore the counting, the transmitting, and everything should actually be in order. Because if it's in order, then you won't need just 7 wise men or 7 judges coming to determine the outcome of an election.
Let them pick it up from there. Yes.
Actually, before I even talk about that, I want to go back to what Kipchumba was talking about on the issue of the Constitution. That, and I agree, and some might disagree, that maybe our Constitution is not that perfect. But there are certain tenets of that Constitution that this government seems to ignore. There is the issue of independent institutions. And whenever an independent institution is perceived to be leaning one side, then it becomes problematic for the rest of the people. We've got a judiciary, we've got the executive arm of government, and we've got the legislative arm of government. What is happening right now in the executive arm of government, and this is why you're finding people like Yunjuri supervising the swearing in of governors, it is affecting the devolved system of government. So in essence, what I'm saying, just listen. What I'm saying is this. You cannot come here and sit and tell us that one institution is independent, yet you are controlling it. Okay? No, listen. Hold on. If you talk about the IEBC, okay? If you talk about IEBC, IEBC was meant to be very independent, but it's actually not independent. Okay? The executive arm of government is interfering with.
How did you get to their system to work?
Just listen.
Is even
No, I'm not.
holding brief
You know
for
what?
IEBC right here.
He is.
We're asking questions.
Oh, okay. So, and I think what we need to be thinking about here is really, we cannot be putting words in people's mouth. What Raila said was very clear. he talked about the vote of every 15 million of us count. Okay, so we have a lot of issues. No, you are talking like one. When you are shouting and you're not actually going into the issue.
Yes, Kipchumba.
Raila Odinga was reported widely. That's why I wished the clip would have run a little bit further, because he said that no matter what the decision comes from the Supreme Court, they will still pursue process of electoral justice, which were extra constitutional. And my point is this, that, and I think we don't need to cover that, it's a fact. Raila Odinga is, as I said in my introductory remarks, is a man who is hurt by the loss. And even the people we beat, I beat my competitor with 81,000 votes. 81% of the votes, he got 14%. The computer generated senator from Narok
I want to ask
could have, let me just complete, could have also beat his competitor, or perhaps he was assisted to do so if he believes in the computer generation. But the point I'm trying to say is this, that since he's in that situation, he's contemplating, first of all, he's trying to intimidate the Supreme Court. And I want to tell everybody that Supreme Court is composed of fine gentlemen and ladies. I believe they cannot be intimidated. Number two, can I complete? Number two,
you were saying things about the courts not too long ago.
I told you, I will never fault NASA for arguing with the decision of 2013. Because as a country, can I complete?
But just the other day you threatened the judge.
Can I complete what I'm saying? I can never fault any Kenyan, including NASA, for disagreeing with a decision already made by courts. I have a problem with an individual, either as a Kenyan or in leadership or not, who is trying to intimidate a court that is yet to make a decision. And that's really the point I'm trying to make.
All right,
but no, I haven't concluded what I was saying.
Let
me conclude. So the perception you're saying that all people perceiving that these institutions are not independent, we have no control of people's perceptions. What we have only control as a country is the fact that we have institutions. We allowed NASA to change the commissioners. We allowed them to do. They pushed that the elections must be final on constituency. We allowed them to do that. They pushed for constitutional. They pushed for electronic transmission of results. We allowed them to do so, and we told them, if you want Raila Odinga to be, or his relatives to be the returning officer and commissioners, we'll give you, because we knew elections are won by the votes of the people of Kenya. And I agree with Raila Odinga that it is the votes of the people of Kenya, 15 million, who gave Uhuru Kenyatta 8.2 million votes that must actually count.
Okay, great.
Actually, you know, there's this musician who sang this song, Nikiwa ndani, wapiga kelele.
Nikitoka nje, unanungunika.
Kisha wasema mimi sikupendi.
Na ukipendwa haupendeki.
Na ukipendwa haupendeki. We know now where these guys are heading to.
Where are we heading to?
You're heading to separating this nation.
Yes, let's separate
and will not allow you to.
Why?
It would even happen.
Why would you not allow us to do it?
Because you are already,
why would you not
you
allow
are elected.
This?
I want to wait when the senators are sworn in that you don't take your oath.
No, that's irrelevant.
I want to wait for Rosa.
That's completely irrelevant.
If you believe the process was fraudulent,
don't
take your oath.
No, listen.
And you'll go to Kisumu and tell people, I am a Kivaranga also. I'm computer.
Yeah.
Please go.
Yes.
I'm waiting
Hang on,
for you.
let's talk about that. Will you take your oath when the Senate convenes?
That's irrelevant.
No, hang on, let's answer it.
I will not answer that.
Will you take your oath when the National Assembly convenes, Rosa?
Tell us.
Will you take your oath when the National Assembly convenes?
Tell us. Don't deceive us.
Rosa, can I just give a piece of her?
Not a piece.
I'm telling you,
it's one question.
The reason why some of us feel like it is
allow
time
them
for us to part is because of
don't divide this nation.
Justice.
Kenyans stayed in the line for more than 6 hours. They voted.
Those
so I want you to tell me, are you going to take your oath at the Senate?
Those are just words
Are you going to take your oath?
We cannot allow two ethnic groups to be the only
ones. Are you going to take
hang on, Ledama, are you saying
you
support? Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask the question. Do you support secession?
Yes, I do. 100%.
Why you support secession?
Listen, we are a nation of 43 ethnic groups.
44 now.
Or 44 now with that one which was added. Okay? We have been excluded from power.
By who?
We've been dominated
by who?
You and you.
By how?
The two ethnic groups. Okay? And where we're going, this is a very serious point. Where we're going now is
that is juvenile.
Okay, I have to fight for my rights. And if that calls for me to sign a petition for me to join other people of like-minded, The right for me also
Can I
to
also
leave
ask
this
him a
country.
question?
Can I
Why
tell
he
you
says
something?
I'm not going to
that
allow
he's
just two
sidelined?
ethnic groups to be doing
Narok, where he comes from.
Yes.
They are Jubilee.
No, they are not. They are ODM. You stole our votes.
Your governor
How
is
did
the
you
governor.
feel?
The
Can
governor
you-
of
Yeah,
Narok
governor
is a
with
Jubilee
one
governor.
overwhelmingly.
Even a
No,
job.
we go-
And so I want to ask him,
Yes.
if you're going to divide,
Yes.
what part of Narok is going to go where?
The whole of Narok
And
will
which
go. The whole of
I
the
don't think
people.
so. They're not with
The
you.
people.
They're not
Listen,
with you.
what you need to understand
You're the
is
only one. That's why you need to know
Sabina
you're the
and
only
Murkomen,
one.
What you need to understand is this.
But
This
why are
is
you
very
guys?
serious.
Can I
Why
come
you
in?
guys? If you're we are computer
Can I say
generated,
something about
you
this
are also
succession
computer
thing?
generated.
Yeah?
Tell us, are you
Yes.
going to take your oath or not? Rally, allow them to tell us.
No, first of all,
Kipchumba.
first of all, Sabina, there's no need to argue with people who will
we are
Argue
will-
with people
will-
with what?
will
We are
greet
not psychopaths,
people.
we
Yeah.
focus.
No, you are not.
Focus.
you-
Are you going to take your
can
oath
I
or
can I
not?
complete? Can I
Listen,
complete?
Murkomen,
Ladema,
you know,
all these
Ladema,
people-
Yes, Murkomen,
Ladema,
yes.
Ladema cannot wait for the day to take the oath of office
I know.
that's
because
bad.
he's desperate
Let's
to be a
can we be
senator.
serious? I'm
If
not
he was a
desperate.
serious
I
person
was
And
about
take your oath.
if
I was elected by the
listen,
masses of Narok.
But
Are you going to take your oath or
listen,
not?
listen, Ladema.
So don't trivialize.
Hang on,
No,
let
listen.
Kipchumba
I
say
thought you were
something,
elected
yes.
by everybody in Narok.
No, I wasn't.
I thought so.
I was elected by the people who believe in progressive leadership.
Which part
So
of
you
Narok
are
is-
Not people who believe in tribalism.
You are not elected by all people
Can
of
I
Narok.
say this so that you
Okay,
stop
then
this
that's your
debate?
problem.
Kipchumba, yes, go
Let me
ahead.
say something, my friend. Wait, Larry. You see, we have a problem. We have a problem in this country. You
have
have
a
people.
problem
We have,
because
we
of
have, we have, a,
psychopathy.
we have a problem of people like this
Okay.
who only speak in their mouths to lie to Kenyans
It's already
that,
there.
oh, you know, we are hurt, elections were stolen,
no.
but you know
It's
they will
facts.
rush to take the oath of office. Wait and see these characters in 1
no,
week.
no, no.
They will
You
be
see-
in court
no,
saying,
no.
I swear
No.
I do this.
Let
Number
me ask
two,
you, what
number
did
two,
we vote
number
for
two,
the 8th
number
of
two,
August?
number
Whether
two. Let me,
people take oath or
wait.
not?
These people
No,
are
he's-
going
you know
nowhere.
he's trying
Let me
to-
explain.
What do you
to
mean they're going nowhere?
There
What
is no-
exactly do you
there is
mean
nowhere
by that?
Tinga is going.
Why?
They actually
Because
there is nowhere it's going.
the
That
executive is now the one in control
that
of the
discussion
judiciary?
about
no evidence.
Secession,
no,
yes.
no, I'm not talking about judiciary anymore. We're in secession. That idea of separating from the rest of the country
Why can we not
is
separate?
only it's primitive, it's backward,
No, it is not.
it is
It is for my
juvenile.
right.
Just wait, it's
Don't call
juvenile.
it primitive.
It's the most primitive
call it
statement one can
juvenile.
say
No, I
because
think if you want to
the
dominate-
peddlers,
Ledama, please let him say
Yeah.
something.
But
the
let
peddlers-
Ledama,
Hold
you can have a
on.
moment to
You can have a
rebut what he has
moment,
said. Please let him say something.
You know, the likes of D, by the way.
No, he's not here. Let's talk about it.
No, I mean, he was here last night.
And I also
then
want to
you
ask
should
a
have
question.
The likes of D, I know David D very well. In 2013, as part of Jubilee strategies, David D wanted to be the CS of finance. And the person who pushed him, who was pushing for his appointment, is the same person who was financing and pushing for NASA. And he's still a jilted lover. You know, he's feeling bitter and so forth. The prescription is giving Raila Odinga, he cannot even take it himself.
Where
Because
will he go?
D himself
Where does he come from?
cannot go to Murang'a or Nyeri or Kikuyu or somewhere in Kiambu and even hold a protest, let alone talking about secession.
How do you know that?
I know that because if he is a man enough, what he's trying to do is just to incite one ethnic community
No, he's
to
not doing
run
He
into
says it is political discourse. This is out there, so
there
he's
is not
sharing
that,
it.
that discourse is hogwash.
So which side is he on?
Because like, let me conclude.
But why are you intolerant about something he says? You should argue your own,
No,
make
I
your
am
own
saying,
point.
I am
Make your own
saying,
point.
they can make the decision, the discussion they can have it day and night, but it's hogwash, it's primitive, it is unimplementable. Because we are in 21st century. The discussion we are having is that people are talking about federation of East Africa community,
Exactly. No,
globalization, integration of regions. Any person who discusses that we can make Narok a country, or you can make Elgeyo Marakwet, where I come from, a country,
Why not?
or you can make Turkana a country,
Why not?
is actually the most backward person.
Why not?
And take it from me, Mr. Larry, it will not even happen. What Raila is planning to do, and we know, is just that after the court decision, if it doesn't favor him, because we don't know how the court will rule, if it doesn't favor him, he will do some protests and so forth. Unfortunately, he will not have support of county governments. Even
his
Anyang'
followers
Nyong'o
will not
himself
be on the
will not allow.
We don't know what will happen in
no,
future.
listen,
And
because
then
of
it
those
is
counties
Raila's right to
want move
protest,
forward.
isn't it?
Yes.
That
Lastly,
constitution you are
lastly,
part of writing
the
allows him to
the
protest,
only
allows Kenyans to protest.
the only self-determination that must happen in this country is the self-determination of the people of Luo Nyanza. For far too long, one person has held them hostage. For far too long, he has killed every new leader who has come to office. He has made sure that they will change.
What do you mean he has killed?
I'm saying politically. You know, people like Ocheng, from his county.
Ken.
They just come up
Ken
like this,
Obura.
they are finished.
Listen to you
People
guys
like
now.
Ken Obura, they want to get to come here, they finish him. People like the guy Neto, you see them doing development, you finish them. Jews, you do that.
Murkomen, in all fairness, Murkomen, this is hearsay.
It is time.
This is hearsay.
It is time
If
the
people are not
people of
elected,
it is time.
Shut up so
It
that
is
somebody
time
else has
the
a
people.
chance.
It's the time people of Nyanza. It's time people of Nyanza
In
have
conclusion.
a honest conversation and
you have an
embrace
honest
and
conversation
embrace
with
what we have
yourself,
had
right?
in Rift
There's a
Valley.
problem just for Murkomen.
Look at us in Rift Valley. Look at us in Rift Valley.
Murkomen,
You have new leaders all over. You have one person running the presidency forever.
Larry, one thing that Murkomen...
Yes,
I'm not
Rosa
going to-
Buyu, please
I'm
go
not
ahead.
going to be as
Please respond to what he
as
said, yes.
Murkomen, Because I'm a leader.
You need to change.
And
No,
I
let
believe-
her have her
I
moment,
believe in
yes.
this country. I want to say this. The reason why Raila is going through the process he's going through is because he loves this country.
No.
Then, can you just shut up and give me a chance?
Why
You've
won't you
spoken.
let her have a chance? Yes.
Because they did not.
It's because he loves
They
this
didn't let me
country, and Raila Amolo Odinga, more than any other person in this country, has fought to put this country to where it is.
I doubt.
You and Ruto must doubt it. But that's
Are
your problem.
you diminishing the sacrifices Raila Odinga has made for this country?
Because he wants to be abusive. Now, what Raila is fighting for now, and I can back that up. In 2007, Raila did win this race, but he gave it up because of the love he has for this country. In 2013, he gave it up because of the love he has for this country. Raila, like everybody else, grows older. And he knows that at this point in time, if he quits politics and leaves Kenya with the sort of electoral process that it has, Larry, I've seen you laugh because you, like Murkomen, believe that Raila can never say it enough.
No, actually,
Just shut up and give me a chance.
That is nothing could be farther from the
Okay,
truth.
just shut up and give me a chance. So what it is, what Raila is doing now is putting his best foot forward to fight for this country and to ensure that the electoral process...
Where's Kalonzo?
I want to ask a
Larry,
Where's Mudavadi?
are we going to have an opportunity to talk?
Murkomen, let Rosa say her point. Then you will say.
Are we going to have an opportunity
We
to talk?
all do better, and we can have a substantive conversation if we practice turn taking.
Of course
if
we
we all
can.
talk at the same time,
but because
nobody
he
gets
wants
the
to
point
shout
across.
and he wants to become
Please, Rosa, make your
abusive,
point. Please,
which is characteristic of Murkomen, we don't go far.
the English
So what Raila is doing now, and I'm saying it in English.
Yes.
Sabina, open your-
This is a very good discussion.
Really, yeah.
what Raila is doing now is putting his best effort forward to bring the country to the level where, Larry, if you vote, Sabina, you and Muranga, but if you vote, that vote will count.
That's
That
the
is
mindset.
what
Mine
he's doing.
counted.
That is what he's doing. He does not want to leave a country where 15 million people will vote, but computers will decide on who wins. That is what he doesn't want to do.
Yes, Lodama, pick it up, and then I'll come to you,
I think
Sabina.
I should interrogate a little.
We'll have to Ledam and then you,
I
Sabina.
think my advice to my brother, Murkomen, is that you and I are going to be in the Senate together. The train,
you're taking a note.
the train
Answered.
has already left the train station. I think what you and I ought to do is to go and discuss the best way for this separation. For these people. Listen. You
That's
know,
a joke.
The most
The Senate has
mature
no
way.
time for such
Listen,
discussions.
let me tell you something. So, my brother, let me tell you what I've told you is this. And you know, it shocks me because we are fighting for the future of this nation.
There's no future.
You're not even 40 years old.
So you
should
agree
be
that this
talking
nation has no
about-
future, we should
You should be
secede?
talking
Are we
about
saying
the youth.
it's like there's no
Okay?
future?
No, listen. You should be talking about the youth. It saddens me to see a young person full of sycophancy, such that you cannot sit here
Is
and think
Raila
about
youth?
the future of this country.
That's a tired
No,
line.
listen to me. You are. You're a psychopath.
No,
That's
that's
who
why
you
I
are.
give a chance.
No,
That's a
listen,
very tired
give me a chance to
It's
talk.
been used. It was used when I was re-elected.
No, it
You're
doesn't
wasting
matter.
time.
You
But
know,
I'm giving
this
these
is
are
typical
facts.
Jubilee attitude,
Okay.
where nobody else can talk, nobody else
No,
can
but
eat. They must
he
be the
feels
only
like-
ones
referring
eating.
to
No,
me.
no, no.
So you want
Because
to
you
eat,
keep
you want to
shouting.
have Kenyans.
Ladies and
Let me
gentlemen,
finish.
ladies and gentlemen,
Can I finish?
please finish.
Can I finish?
Can I also?
think, no, Larry.
Yes,
and I think
yes, sir.
Larry,
Go ahead.
And this-
Yes, sir. No,
Larry,
hang on.
we
Please
need-
finish your point.
We need to focus.
Please
on
finish your point,
important
Ledama.
facts.
Then we can move it along.
Because
Yes.
the people who are watching us, we're being watched by millions of people. We're
Okay.
leaders.
Make a case
we
for your
need
separation.
the case that I'm making is
Every
this.
Kenyan wants a chance to be
me
listened to,
t-
which
exactly.
you cannot give them.
Just give me
That's
a
why
chance.
we must separate,
Thank
so
you,
that you can
Rosa.
go on shouting in your
Okay.
country as we listen to one another
Listen,
in ours.
I made it very clear. No,
No,
just
William Ruto in 2007 and Raila
No, you
Odinga.
That
know-
was then before he caught bad
So-
manners
Can I
of
finish?
Jubilee.
You know, Kipchumba,
You keep it the
I swear to God, if we were somewhere in the bush, I would take a rungu and slap you, hit you really hard. But let me tell you the truth.
No, that is
This
a
is why
threat
we're
of
here.
violence.
But let me tell you something.
That is a
My
threat of
point-
violence.
my
That's
point-
unacceptable.
My point is this. The reason why some of us are calling for separation is because we are tired of dominance. We are tired of
Even
injustices.
round this table, you're dominating.
Okay? Even, I mean, look at him. Look at him. What we want is that we want an opportunity whereby Ledama can be president of this nation and is elected because of the content of his character, but not because of dominance.
Okay.
So what I'm
Fantastic.
saying, no, hold on, let me finish. What I'm saying is this: we have issues.
How come-
Let us just.
You're not next to speak. It is
No,
Sabina.
sorry, Sabina,
Yeah,
talk.
I'm next. And my question was, Rosa talked about Baba.
Yes.
And how he loves
I'm
his
glad
nation.
you're calling him Baba. That's
He's our
what
Baba.
But he's now Babu.
Yeah.
So it's
He's our
okay.
Babu, actually.
Yeah. And how he loves this nation. And I think he's a statesman because I respect him. And I know he did a lot for fighting for democracy in this nation, but he was not the only one. We have the Koigu Amori, we have the Kenneth Matiba, and they don't go bragging. They have done their bits. My worry is, Rosa says like Baba is desperate to accomplish a mission. And I want to ask a question.
What?
Did Baba mentor anyone? Because if he did, he should trust
He's mentored you without
he
all
should,
his efforts.
he
you
should
wouldn't
trust
be
Rosa
free to speak the
that
way
even
you're
without
speaking.
Baba, Rosa would take up the mantle and move on. But it's not a one-man show. Secondly, this nation is bigger than myself, than Murkomen,
I'm
than you
glad you're
too.
agreeing with me.
Why do
And-
you say did he mentor anyone?
Because she
ODM,
talked
as
about-
the oldest party in the current setup,
Yes.
has MPs, governors, senators from all around the country.
these MPs
people who
cannot
are
move.
under the
cannot
political
move.
umbrella of Raila
They
Odinga.
cannot move.
She said it is only him who has the solution.
Oh no.
And that's
Sabina, I
and-
said
and-
speak in Kiswahili.
I know
because when
it's
I speak
okay.
in English,
Even
you need to
Kikuyu, I'll still
me.
understand better.
There's a problem here,
But
guys.
the thing is
There's
this,
a problem here.
when she spoke, it's just about Baba and nobody else. What I want to say is that this nation is bigger than any one of us,
You believe in
including
that?
bigger than even Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta.
You believe in that?
And that is why the numbers and the voting, as you talked about, the voters spoke. People were on the line for 6 hours. And I want to remind you what happened in 2007. We all went through a lot of pain in this nation. And I want to tell you again and remind you that Kenyans are not ready to go back to what happened in 2007. And that is why, if you are gentleman enough, if you love this nation, if you are patriotic,
Dominance.
and if you believe there were Vifaranga, whatever it was, because, you know, Radley, we have gone through some stories. You know, it's like those short stories. Once there was hacking, and somebody was asked, how did you discover there was hacking unless you're trying to hack? They could not answer. Second, IBC is almost to announce we will not go to court because we don't trust in courts, and people walked out. Third, we are coming back to court, and they just show up some minutes before midnight.
All in their right.
Fifth, and again, we are now in court, but we don't trust what will happen because the decision was made by the people, so we might look for another story. Unajua, this is just storytelling. I want to tell these guys, if you are true Democrats, please don't take your oath.
No, hold on.
Tell
hold
even
on.
your governors to take your oath. If you
Listen,
believe you're
you
not
know-
elected,
you
if
know,
you believe you're also
Sabina, sorry, with all
don't
due
take your
respect,
oath.
you are-
Let us show Kenyans
you are-
that we actually
what you're saying.
believe
let me
in
tell
what
you.
you're talking about.
Okay.
You know,
Right
let
now,
me just
we
finish.
just have a lot
Before
of
you
hot
say.
air.
Great.
Let me just finish.
Just
Sabina,
hot
Before
air.
you say
Sabina.
something,
It's
can
just
I
another
say,
hot air.
Honourable,
Sabina.
could we make shorter points so we can move the
Yes,
discussion along faster?
my point is very
Yes.
short. Sabina, we are where we are today because of two things, which I hope you will always remember when you live here. We are
One.
here because of impunity and because of injustice.
How?
No, listen. You know, everything which is happening, okay, in this country. You
Including
cannot
your
listen.
election.
No, come on, please give me a chance to talk, and I finish what I'm saying. You know, I'm not here to try and argue
Continue.
with you.
We
I'm
are
here
listening.
because I'm elected by the people of Narok
So you're not
to
a
defend their
Kifaranga.
rights. Okay, you understand? So when you keep making this as if it's a joke, it is not a joke.
Can I say something?
Okay.
Larry?
How
So
does it
this
make your
dominance-
election was
this
fair, but the
dominance-
presidential
this-
was
no,
not?
No. This
Rally.
dominance that you guys keep on pushing
It's not about
for
dominance, it's a
is
fact.
what is making
Table
us say,
your facts.
you know what? If enough is enough. You
Table
go
your
your way,
facts.
we go our way.
Yes,
Which
please
way will you
respond to
go?
that, Murkomen. Yes.
I think,
yes, sir.
first of all,
Please don't give him
as a country,
A short point, Murkomen.
but you know, let's listen. You see, I kept quiet. Number one is to say that Uhuru Kenyatta is in State House, not Kikuyus.
Exactly.
William Ruto is the deputy president, not Kalenjins. Raila Odinga is the leader of opposition, not Luos. The point we must understand here is that when a person is elected as an individual, it's by virtue of his character and ability to lead. And the day Ole Kina wants to run for president, he must convince Kenyans that he can lead them and he will get their votes.
But will I be
The
given
day
a chance?
Joe
when
wants,
he's dominant?
as he said, he wants
Why
to run
not?
for
Seriously.
president.
Convince us.
And every politician who comes to office, every child who is born in this country, whether it's a Rendile, whether it is one community, must have an opportunity to dream to even lead this country.
That's
and
a
that's
joke.
really
That's
that is
a
really
joke in
where
Kenya
that's
today.
where we are moving towards.
That's a
and
joke.
number two is that my friend has talked about this country is about young people. And I think it's important that we mentor young people and give them an opportunity not to dim their light. And unfortunately, it is the Jubilee side. And I speak for myself, I speak for William Ruto. In the region where we come from, he has taken deliberate effort to mentor so many of us. That's why an average age of a member of parliament in Rift Valley,
Only
Rift
if
Valley
they are
College,
yes,
let me
yes
just
to
listen.
him.
No,
Yeah,
really.
no,
No,
not
let him
necessarily.
finish.
Average age of most of
Let him
us is
finish.
30s, yeah? And even the youngest governor comes from Nandi place. If you get the youngest senator, it comes from Nandi, the same place, 28 years, and Kericho. Because we've been given a chance to grow so that leadership can move forward. And I think that's really what these people should start thinking about, that it is the failure of Baba that he can be the only person who runs and fails 4 times, and that there can be no other person who can do the same.
No.
It's unfortunate because he should have mentored other person.
How do you arrive at that conclusion?
I
It
arrive
shocks
at that
me.
conclusion because if you are sacrificial enough, if you are somebody who has a heart for people, once you've tried 2-3 times, you tell Kenyans, ladies and
No,
gentlemen,
you know.
I have given my
Give it
best.
to
with
Rosa.
you.
What if you
Let
believe?
me give
What if
Kalonzo another chance.
Murkomen?
Let me give Mudavadi
Mudavadi.
another chance. Let me give Mother Karua another chance. Let me
Musalia.
other
What
person
if you
Musalia.
believe rightfully
Yeah.
Rosa
in
can
his
also be
case
there.
that he believes the election was stolen from him those 2 times and it's happened a 3rd time?
Yes.
And if it was not about him, because the discussion here has been, it was not about Raila, it's
not
about the
about
rest of
Raila.
Kenya.
He
it's
said
about
that
Kenya.
it was never about him. It was about the
Absolutely,
integrity of the
absolutely.
elections.
Yes.
Hand over the baton. Give it to someone else. Tell
With
them,
a flawed-
ladies,
with a flawed
there's-
election
there-
process,
You
how will
know,
it help?
you know, when
Why is
you
your
lose
proof?
an election 4 times.
No, you know, I want to remind
When you look at
Murkomen.
election 4 times, people like Uhuru Kenyatta who lost once came and tried and won. You should every time you're pointing at the referee,
Murkomen.
you're pointing at the other players.
Murkomen.
It's now time to re-examine yourself.
I
and
don't
say,
know whether
it
you
might-
have-
It might
Let
be
me-
Mali,
let me-
I
Great,
don't
you've
know
made your
whether
point.
you have
You've
a-
made your point.
I don't know whether you have a chance.
7, do you believe Raila won or lost?
Oh, wait,
Because
wait,
you are
that's
one
why I
of
was
the
going
people who
actually.
was shouting with placards
Yeah.
that he won.
No, that's-
as his supporter,
talking to you as
as his
Murkomen,
supporter,
did you?
Yeah.
I believed he won. But the body that announced the results say that
So that is what we are saying.
Kibaki
That is
won.
exactly.
Kibaki won, and I have lived with
No,
that.
no,
too.
no, no, no.
Great.
There's
Let's-
nothing else I can do.
Murkomen, you
That's
made your point.
something.
Murkomen, you made your
That is
point.
exactly what we are saying. He's saying that he believed Raila won in 2007, but the body that announced the results gave it to somebody else.
And I
Because he
accept
can't
it.
say his
This
voice.
is what Raila is saying. Never again in this country
Every
should
supporter.
somebody win and the body that announces results claims that somebody
I have a
else who has
question here.
lost is the winner.
Yes,
That
Sabina.
is the point.
Great,
So,
Sabina.
Rosa, tell Kenyans.
I've told them, I've just told them
And
now.
I just want to ask you a question, and straight. Who won these elections, 2017?
You tell me, computer-wise or
No,
by voting?
I'm asking you because
I
you
think
The
said
people's
who won.
vote or the computer's vote? You tell me.
All
The
the
people's
votes.
vote. Who
The
won?
people's vote
Who
is
won?
Raila Amolo
Yeah,
Odinga.
because every
But
supporter.
the computer-generated
No.
results,
He won
Uhuru
without
Muigai
much.
We have,
Kenyatta.
we have.
You won without much?
You know, yes.
Okay.
The
Now,
difference
here's the
between
thing.
Raila and Uhuru was 1.8 million.
So who had won?
Okay.
No, 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 no.
Raila
Let's not
won
start
the-
over
Let's
again.
have the
Ledama,
proof.
Every
Ledama,
supporter
proof.
believes he's the
Ledama,
candidate.
Ledama. Yes,
It's
yes.
history.
Hang on. Let
No, no,
Ledama
no, no.
finish his point. You've asked your question.
You know, Murkomen, I really want us to be sober, and I want us to think about the future of this nation. We've got a disputed election. It is now in the hands of the. Yeah, just
the
listen.
courts.
We have. It is in the hands of the courts. So let us give these good men, who we believe that they will give a fair ruling. Okay. Let us give them an opportunity. While we're here, we need to discuss issues, and we must agree, because you said here that you speak on behalf of William Ruto. The same William Ruto in 2007 is the one who was complaining about the same issues we are complaining about, and he was on the other side. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, I want to remind you that Kenyans out there, the youth who we represent, you actually agreed with me. You said where you come from, the majority of leaders there are young people. Let us give them a chance. What Raila is saying,
Let him give them a
can
chance.
you give me a chance to talk? I'll give you a chance to shout all you want, yeah?
I
But
just
give me
say,
a
I
minute
agree
to
with
finish.
You, Raila should give them
No,
a
no,
chance.
no. Just shut up and listen to me, and then I'll let you talk.
Okay.
What I think we ought to do is this. We need to remember that, and I said this from the beginning. My opening statement was this. It is not about Uhuru Kenyatta, and it is not about Raila. It is about the future of this nation. And Raila was very clear. He said he will not stand and watch Kenyans suffer Because if I feel that we've suffered, and you feel that you've suffered greatly. No, hold on. We're in this limbo now because not everyone is happy. We don't want a situation whereby in this country we are back to this position.
All right.
Okay.
So is it that I just
As
want
we
to-
conclude,
as we conclude,
Sabina.
if you have a child,
Yes,
and
I do.
your son goes to school one day, and comes and reports that his book was stolen the first day. The second day he comes back and reports again his book was stolen. Third and fourth, you must ask yourself a very hard question: who has a problem? Is it the child who is stealing, or your son has a problem?
The son who is stealing, the child who is stealing.
So
Not my son.
is your son so dumb
Okay.
that his book must be stolen 4 times?
You know, if you're dominating,
And this is a question.
if you dominate,
And
then
this
there's
is,
no way
let me
you're going to
finish.
give me an opportunity.
And this is the question. If you are saying 2007 it was stolen, 2013 again,
I think
2017,
2007, you're actually crying with us.
what do you mean?
Okay, but go on.
My people were killed. And I'll tell
Exactly.
you, we
That's
cannot,
what I'm saying.
we cannot go back to 2007. And that's why I'm telling you, Kenyans have decided. That is even when you guys told Kenyans not to go to work on Monday, they asked you, are you going to put bread on our table? We must go and work. And there's no way, no political leader, including ourselves, even Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, who is going to manipulate the minds of Kenyans. They made up their minds. They were on the lines. And let me tell you, and this must be a wake-up call for the NASA come ODM, that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and William Ruto went out and looked for votes. They went out and campaigned when you guys were doing press conferences. They went out for 4 years. Let me finish. They went out for 4 years. They did development projects, including where we were not even given votes, including where you did not even give us votes now. Rosa, you have a highway in
Don't talk
Kisumu.
about development
I'm looking
projects,
at you
please.
smiling, courtesy of coalition
True,
government
but
in 2007.
you have a highway
Nothing to
in
do with
Kisumu.
William Ruto and Uhuru.
Where we had leaders who
See,
were
get your facts
had a constituency for many years that are still using flying toilets. And when Jubilee government went to try and help that community, some people went and incited them against it.
No.
Are you talking about
Kenyans-
Kibera and the
exactly.
NYS and the
So
NYS?
Kenyans,
You do realize that ended up in scandal.
In scandals, yeah?
so
Which
it's
was part of
okay.
the
But what
Jubilee
I'm saying is this:
government,
with Jubilee government,
So does that justify
Let's individuals-
computers determining who our
and
next leaders are?
if
Your
it's
point
computers,
really-
Rally, we must agree on this one. That Jubilee government won square because
No, we're
of
not
their
gonna
development
agree. No.
agenda.
We will not agree
And
on that.
if these two,
The two
or
of
if
you
the
will
NASA,
agree,
they
but I
agree
will
that
not
it's
agree
about
with you.
Vifaranga or generated results, computer generated, they should not take their oath. And if they're not accepting that, then we don't have a discussion. Don't
right.
take Kenyans for a ride.
What is the
Don't.
discussion in court?
Can I
Whether
make my
people are taking their
concluding
oaths or
Yes,
not.
Don't take Kenyans on a ride.
Murkomen, please make your closing
in response
submissions.
To what Olekina said, let's agree this way. I am in the Senate. My responsibility under Article 96 of the Constitution is to shepherd county governments, ensure that they get more resources, more accountability, better legislations. I am very proud of the senators who have been elected to governors, Senator Anyang' Nyong'o, Kiraitu, Sang, and Sonko. They are doing a fantastic job together with the other governors. There is no time. I can tell you, any person who's contemplating that he will be doing mass action and protests, I want to remind them that there's a new sheriff in Nairobi called Sonko. And today he was moving from one office to the other, fighting corruption and accountability in that city. We will not allow those shenanigans. There's a new
Are you saying,
sheriff-
hang on, are you
No,
saying that,
wait,
hang on, let me follow up. Are you saying that because Sonko is the new sheriff in town, he will not allow protests?
No, I'm just saying, not protest, not the protest. We will not allow any
Well,
person,
okay.
I have not completed my sentence. I said, we will not allow any person to distract the new leaders who are in town, ensuring that they change the lives of people of Kibera, of Madare. You know, Songo is really coming in with a lot of hope of people in the slums that want to make a difference. Senator Anyang' Nyong'o, who is the governor of Kisumu, is going in with a great mind, one of the persons who worked on the Vision 2030 issues, and I can see him, he's preparing to take over Kisumu to the greater heights. Kiraitu is doing the same in his place. Senator Sang, who is the governor of Nandi, is doing the same, and the other governors across. I see Joe. Joe yesterday appeared, a different Joe. He's
Different from what?
he's preparing himself now for a legacy. The same with Nanok in Turkana. We want to go to Senate with Olekina and others and provide an opportunity for these governors, create legal framework, work with them, consultation, cooperation, change this nation.
All right.
We have no time to debate about, and all these people I'm talking about were elected in the same elections with Uhuru Kenyatta.
They were elected in the same elections with me, and all of us were here on the table. When the courts will finally make the decision about the petition of Honorable Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka, we will have concluded that process, and I believe that as a country now we move forward to make this nation a great place to be.
Let me just say something. I
Yes,
think,
sir.
Kipchumba, what we must agree is that the leadership in this country must be inclusive. We need to, for us to have a brighter future, and for our children to be proud of the work that we've done. When I said Raila fought for me, I said Orengo fought for me, is because I used to see them in the streets. Now the position that I am as a senator-elect of Narok County is to fight for the future generation. And I want us to go to march that way and ensure that there's a complete fiduciary responsibility, and also we will have elections that we'll be proud of.
All right.
Anytime we have a problem, we need to look back and say, what is going on? We need to be our own men and think on our own and report back to the people who elected us.
Okay.
For me, I think we need to create a position in government. I want to agree with him. Raila is a very great man, and he is a statesman. He's a man that most of us have learned from him. Only if I wish he considered defeat, and even if he didn't, now he's in court, whatever the outcome of the court would be, I would request both Raila and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta to accept the decision of the court, because they have actually both of them have told us that they are waiting for the decision. After that, maybe, and I would like humbly to request His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta to create a position for Raila, so that he can mentor majority of us, so that he can become an advisor, and actually show us what democracy is all about.
All right.
And once we rest that, whatever the decision of the court is going to be, we don't want people to go to the streets. We don't want people to be incited.
People have a right to go to the streets. The Constitution allows them to do so.
But he is a leader. He's a statesman. Once he speaks, I know 6.something million, almost 7, they voted for him. And they respect him. They're waiting for his voice.
Okay.
I would beg and plead with him that he accepts the decision of the court. I don't know how it's going to be. If it's
Are you ready to accept if the elections
Of course, of course, we are ready.
So are you?
We are ready to
So
accept.
when you are here,
We are ready.
comment,
And
I
so-
this is a very straight
and
question.
I am
for both
pleading
of you.
for a position.
For both of you.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you about, before we talk about a position,
Yes.
are you guys prepared that maybe the decision might actually not favor you and favor
Yes,
Of course,
NASA?
of course.
So then,
Of course
so that
we are.
in this table, let us not,
Of course.
let us not talk as if we already know the decision.
We
We
don't
are
know.
saying-
For sure, we are
Because,
ready to
because
accept.
what Sabina
Okay.
you
Can I
said,
have my call? I
yes.
think they've done the...
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Rosa.
Finish. We have said,
that
and
decision.
for me,
All
I'm
right.
saying,
Can I have my call?
Yes, Sabina, proceed. No.
Rosa.
you're not the moderator. Why? How come you
Now,
are not?
Ledama wants to do my
He
job
became-
too.
We talk
You're
too
not
much.
moderator.
Yes, Rosa.
But I think
This
that
is
would be
what
a
I want
nice
to say.
position for him.
As a country, at the moment, we're not sitting in a very good place.
No, we're not.
Why? We're in a situation where the Constitution grants us the right to picket if we want, to show displeasure if we want, so long as we are not violent or so long as we are not making life unbearable for the other people. But sections of this country or parts of this country are being denied that right. We saw exactly what happened after the announcement of results of the presidential results. People in parts of this country came out to demonstrate, which is their right, to show displeasure with what had happened or the outcome of the elections. What was the result or what was the outcome? We had babies, even as young as 6 months, being fished out of their parents' houses and being killed.
It's very sad.
We saw young people who were basically not doing anything being pulled out of their homes and being killed. Why? Because they come from certain communities. This is not healthy. And when something like that happens, you have that feeling of revolt inside you, which is not good for a united Kenya. And so I think that the police, and by extension the government, must go back and read that constitution. And instead of killing its citizens, look after and protect its citizens and allow its citizens to enjoy the constitution to its fullest.
Okay.
I agree, but I think this nation needs some tutorials on what picketing is all about and what peaceful demonstration is all about. And there's a very thin line currently
Let's not start
in
a new
Kenya.
discussion, Sabina.
Exactly.
Okay.
And everybody has a right to picket and to leave.
All
And
right.
it's unfortunate where the kids were involved. Very unfortunate for all of us.
Okay.
But again, we need to be very careful. Let's not whip emotions of Kenyans through falsehood.
Okay.
There are some people who even sent images that are not true. There are some people who even started saying their demonstration in cities
Places
in
where there are no
towns where
demonstrations,
are not.
yes.
What I know and what
And
I
so
witnessed,
let us
because
not.
that happened in
and
the
I've-
constituency of the county that I represent.
I've said
Okay.
this nation, and let's all remember, it's greater than all of us.
All right. Before we let you go, I want to get your comments on Gladys Wanga and Godono Mushomba have been talking about allowances. I want to play that for you right now so you can all comment because you're elected representatives.
You have to go there.
Yes, I have to go there because as our elected representatives, we need to know your positions on whether you're going to demand a pay rise or not. This is what Gladys Wanga and then Godono Mushomba said.
I will demand.
There is a mission to demean the legislative arm of government. There is a mission to demean members of parliament and reduce them to beggars, and perhaps like in the 90s expect them to go to the executive every Friday begging for handouts to be able to go back to their constituencies. And this will not happen under our watch at the Parliamentary Service Commission.
Let's use the right procedures to slash and add, but let's not play hide and seek games.
So you're going to support this move?
Definitely, yes. I want to be paid well. I worked. I fought it out to be a member of parliament. I campaigned. I used my resources. I want to be paid well. I want to be honored for who I am, for what I have been able to achieve.
The four of you are all MPs.
Let me start.
Do you support sitting allowances, mileage allowances, car grants for MPs and senators?
Listen.
Is that a yes or a no first?
No, wait. I just want to say this. It can only be explained.
So that's a yes.
No, yeah, yes, but let me explain to you.
That's a yes. Let me poll the
no,
group
wait,
first
just
before you
fine, just
explain.
fine. No.
Do you support
No,
this?
just a yes,
I'll come
no.
back to
A
you to
yes
explain.
alone- a yes
no,
alone
yes,
cannot
yes.
answer my
I'm going to
question.
give you a
It's not a
chance.
yes, no.
I'm going to give you a chance. Let me poll the rest of the panel. Do you support the
I'll wait
reinstatement?
to be sworn in to comment on that.
What about you?
No.
You don't support the mileage allowances, sitting allowances, all of that? The SRC removed all of these things, the car grant, sitting allowances, mileage allowances.
I'll have to look at it, but when Uhuru came, last time he came to Parliament, I want to remind Murkomen that he said we were actually to take...
I'm coming back to him. I just want to know,
Yeah,
is that a yes or no?
yeah.
I'm coming back to, is it a yes or no? Do you support the...
No.
No. So you're fine without car grant, mileages, sitting allowances, all of that?
Uhuru talked about our salary, not the grants
No.
and allowances. and
I
everything.
want a yes or a no.
I said
That's a very simple
No.
question.
Great. What
Do I
about you?
support- Yes,
Do you
I
support? You
Gladys
support?
Wanga.
Let me
Absolutely.
You support Gladys Wanga?
Now let me say more.
Now
than
you
that.
can qualify why.
And you let me qualify
yes.
mine as
Listen,
well.
Larry, I don't care about the salary I'm going to be paid. That's not a problem with me. 600,000 is good enough to be a salary.
Ruth has given them
We
enough.
have, just wait, we have a problem.
Yes.
Running the office of senator is a
Thank
very
you.
difficult task.
Thank you.
I've just come from a re-election where I go every ward and people are asking me, who is your contact person here? If we wanted to give our petitions, we give to who? How is your office going to run? Pay me the 600,000, even slash it to 500,000, I don't care. But make the office of the senator to have a vehicle to go around, create enough staff for us to be able to have contact persons in the county, provide the resources that are going to run the office. Don't even give me that money. Create a department in the Parliamentary Service Commission, and you will know that, Rosa, because you are coming in as a county women rep, you will know that running the office of the senator, because it's one of the offices that has no any resources, is a very difficult task. Why would I want, as Murkomen, to now remove my salary? Even the 700,000 we were being paid last time was nothing when you have to use that money. And I had to put some people in contract in my county, pay them from my personal resources so that I continue having contract in the county. Why would I want to be elected to an office and manage the office itself? So, Larry, I want you to get it very clear. Pay me that money, even 600,000, reduce it to 500, even 400, but ensure that my office has a car, has enough staff to run the office, and I can be able to reach my people when I want to.
You are going to fist bump him.
Actually,
You've not even been sworn in and you're already complaining about how much you stand to
no,
make.
that's irrelevant. What I'm actually agreeing with Murkomen is that
Now you see
the work. Well, no,
They
just
are
wait.
agreeing on the salary.
Now you
Let me
agree
wait.
on
We are
across
senators.
the political
and
divide.
I think, Murkomen, you and I will have to work closely together to ensure that. No, hold on.
friends.
Just listen. To ensure that the Senate becomes the real upper house. Number one. We have to ensure that.
Why are
you
we
see-
having a
wait,
different
wait, wait.
discussion?
Now, number one.
Ladama,
No, just listen.
This discussion has
Okay.
happened for 4.5 years.
No,
Let's
just
talk
listen. Let
about
me finish
that.
allowances,
Now,
car
no,
grants.
come on. Murkomen,
Yeah.
you and I, we go around. How many constituencies do you have?
I do have 4. You have
Yeah, I have 6 constituencies.
I have 7.
I cannot even be paid like an
some
MP.
people have 12
Okay,
in
some
Parliament.
people have 12.
Yeah.
So I think it's with all fairness. If you look at my phone now, there are probably 60 or 100 text messages asking me for harambes and stuff like that. Okay? And then we are sitting there and watching governors crisscrossing the counties with helicopters. First of all, we have to stop that. Number 2, we must be paid enough so that and also for us to be able to run our offices properly.
Why do you want to be paid a sitting allowance for doing your job?
We are not talking about all that.
Why do you want a
Things
car
like
grant?
allowances.
Why do you want a mileage allowance, which ordinary Kenyans...
I have said, buy a car, a GK car,
no, ask him.
and give it to the office
In
of
fact,
senator.
I'll ask you a question which
And
was
after
asked before.
my term,
Are you
return
paid
the car to
overtime?
government.
True.
I'm
I don't
not
have-
paid
I don't have
overtime.
to
You're
give the
not
car.
paid overtime.
Yeah.
Then some of us will be working overtime,
Yeah.
and we should be paid for that.
Yeah.
President Kenyatta, you mentioned, President Kenyatta said you don't come into leadership to make yourself rich.
I
It's
agree.
because he's already
Agreed.
rich,
And
and we're
that's
not
why
interested in
we are
getting
not
us
even
rich.
interested.
We're not interested. We're already rich.
Larry, and I want to make this abundantly clear. As long as the office of the senator in the Republic of Kenya is going to be what it is today,
It is not
will
going.
be
We have
an
to amend the
attractive
constitution.
office. It will not be possible for anybody to serve. Because what is the point of you putting me in an office? I don't have a car to go around the county. I have no employees who are contact persons in
have to
every
create
ward.
them.
I have no possibility of getting petitions from my people or ability to
We
read
will
them.
work
I want to
on
say
that.
something,
We will
Randy.
work
It
on
is
that.
not the salary, it is not the sitting allowances. I don't care about that.
I want to say something.
I care about the running of the office. And
All right,
as
so
I
you-
told you,
yes.
remove the car allowances, the whatever mileage
grant,
allowances,
mileage
car grants,
allowance.
and so forth. Buy a car called GK of
Okay.
the office of the senator. After 4 years, it remains with that office.
All right.
I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
want to
yes,
say
Sabina.
something. Myself and Murkomen, because we are second-term MPs. He's a senator, I'm a woman, right?
Yeah, she has money. She has
all-
a big kitty.
It's not about money. I actually don't have as a big kitty as
least
a
you have
member of
vehicles.
parliament.
At least you have
You
vehicles.
have a
And even the
vehicle.
vehicle is the same as the CDF vehicle, which is used by our staff members.
better.
The
No,
only
it's
thing
better.
I'm saying is this. Bradley, we all came into positions. He also vied for a second time as a senator, knowing what was waiting for him.
Yeah.
We must amend
So right now, we are discussing about something that Sarah Sarem has said. I don't have the details. And that's why I said, when I came in, the president had already mentioned that our salaries would go down. So whatever they are offering us, it's okay, I'll take it. I'll not debate about
Because
it.
Uhuru
But
says this.
not because Uhuru said, we were
Can we
already,
let-
that's
can
why
we
you
let
went
her
to
have-
ask for votes. You didn't go tell people, vote for me. And if my salary is going to be this amount, then don't vote for me. You went and asked people to give you votes. Secondly, the issues about the vehicles, what Murkomen said, I support. Because you must be facilitated. Third, we must do civic education. That a member of parliament is not the person who is supposed to attend your weddings and give you money for weddings and give you money for funerals and give you money for
50
arambes.
years, my friend.
We must do a lot of civic education, and
All right.
you, as the media, and the people must come in and help us.
Okay.
So that then, when Senator Murkomen says, my work is legislature, I must go and speak on behalf of your people. And that's why we had a lot of turnout. And I'll tell you, we only had 10 women reps coming back to parliament.
Yes.
And only a few senators coming back. Because people were asking, fine, the governor has built this much, what have
What
you
have you
done?
done? Great.
And not understand that the governor has billions and you have nothing.
All right,
So we must,
fantastic.
there's a lot to be done. It's not just about this discussion, it's about how much I'm going to be paid.
All right,
But
I
there's
think-
a lot of facilitation, what the people expect from you and what you're being provided for. each
Wonderful.
work.
Let's leave it. This is what Kenyans think, by the way. Kenyo Mike says, so now on salaries and benefits, Ledama and Murkomen had an agreement. Wa Kenya tumecheswa.
Hakuna
Unachezwa
kuchezwa,
wapi?
hakuna kuchezwa.
Come on.
The same
The same
characters
guy. What's his
who are,
name?
who are
It's
making
called
those
Kenyo
comments.
Mike.
That's the same
Tomorrow
Kenyo.
they
He's
will
the one who
inbox
be
and
asking
say,
us,
Mheshimiwa
nitumie.
unaweza nikatumia kakitu.
Alafu.
Because let me tell you, and
education,
there
Wale,
must be
that's what it
a
is.
serious conversation in this country. The fear that politicians have ever had, now that I'm second time, I can say this. You see,
Why did you say that?
Why couldn't you say it in your first time?
because I did not have the experience.
All
I
right,
have had
oh.
4.5 years experience of using my pocket money to run an office. And I am saying enough is enough.
All right.
The first assignment of the senators who are coming in is to make that office an office that is running. Because, and Ladema talked about generations. I don't want other senators to come and ask, were people in this house? And how was it possible that these people just sat like this and they never enabled that office to function?
Okay.
So we must make sure that the office is functioning.
All right.
That's what is
And I think that thanks to the few women reps
Yes.
who actually created
Okay.
a small kitty.
Fantastic.
And when we come back to Parliament, we're going to actually now work on
We
it.
have to leave it there.
That's
Ladies
why
and
some of
gentlemen.
us had to fight again to become women reps.
I
again.
was going to talk
We
about the
made it
deputy
possible.
president in Kirinyaga yesterday, but I think we're out of time, so we're going to leave that.
Let's
What?
not talk about this. No.
Do you really want us to go there?
No.
Let us go there then.
Yes.
This was Deputy President William Ruto yesterday at Anne Waiguru's inauguration in the great county of Kirinyaga. You've got to see this to believe it.
Salamu nyingi ya pongezi kutoka rais na kutoka kwangu na kutoka familia nzima la Jubilee kwenu watu wa Kirinyaga. Hawa wananchi walituambia na mimi nilisikia kwa masikio yangu mwenyewe, kazi iendelee. Hawakusema tuchaguliwe ndio tugombane ama tuanze makelele.
Did that seem amiss to you? Anything that was off about that?
No, nothing. I mean,
Nothing.
the deputy president first congratulated the people of Kirinyaga for voting for them, but also for voting for
it's in
the
their
leaders,
choice.
actually leaders of their choice.
Great, let's leave it there for
So,
the moment.
really?
Let's leave it there for the moment because this was also the deputy president a few months ago.
But surely, if a hairdresser registers 20 companies, gets contracts, is paid millions, the millions, admittedly, she says she carried millions in bags and sacks like potatoes. And then you want to tell us stories. Oh, you know, this is... please, give us a break. Kiingereza mingi. Mnafanyia catwalk hapa around. Na ni wazi pesa ya umma imepotea. Mwenye hiyo pesa anasema aliweka kwa gunia. Sasa jameni, kweli dunia hii, you know, we must be honest with ourselves. That we must be honest with ourselves. And we will call a spade a spade.
So what's the problem?
What changed from Kizungu Mingi na catwalk to Salamu Nyingi?
Let me ask you, Larry.
I want to
let
answer
me
you.
help.
Let me help.
One person at a
I
time,
have
ladies
seen-
and
so
gentlemen.
that you can come to
Let me help you on that.
I have seen that clip being run all the time, and the argument is that the deputy president was discussing Anne Waiguru. But where is he discussing Anne Waiguru?
Oh, we have the full clip. He was talking
No,
about Anne
no,
Waiguru.
honestly.
In lots of different
Not
occasions,
at
the
all.
deputy president...
There is no single
the
sentence.
deputy president...
No, let me just start with that. Let's start with that.
The deputy president asked Anne Waiguru to carry her own cross.
But no, you inferred. You yourself inferred.
Chumba,
Number
let me
two.
help you.
Number
Let me
two
help
now.
you. But I'm helping you on this.
Assuming. I'll come to that.
helping
I'll
you.
come to
Let him
that.
finish, let him finish,
Assuming-
let him finish.
Assuming, therefore, he was talking about her. Yeah? And told her, you carry your own cross, you make sure you go through the legal processes. She went through that legal process. She went back to her people elected her. So what's the problem?
Okay, let me help you.
Where's the problem? I mean,
Kipchumba.
if we are a country...
Ledama, then we'll come to you, Sabina.
Kipchumba, let me help you on this.
Inconsistencies of Jubilee.
William Ruto is a true politician. And someone once told us there are no enemies in politics. So I think back then he saw it differently. Now he's thinking about 2022. Okay? So he's got to put that aside. No, listen. There's so many, you know, I'm actually helping you. But I think I'm helping you on this one. But I think my sister has said here one thing which I want to remind you.
Inconsistencies of
There's a
Jubilee.
lot of inconsistency.
Too much.
But you'll
No
expect that in politics.
value-based, no
Okay?
principles, no
So,
values.
what
What works
before
when?
you say it. So remember this as you go. I'm really helping you. And let me not even finish it.
You are helping him because you are
Sabina.
giving salaries.
No.
You're giving salaries. Sabina.
When I watched the elections, William Ruto's vote was in Gishu.
Yes.
When the president went to Kirinyaga, he asked the people of Kirinyaga to make a decision.
Yes.
They made their decision. William Ruto went there yesterday as a leader of Jubilee to appreciate the decision of the Kirinyaga people. And there's no way that would go against the decision of the people. And I think this is democracy. And that's what we are seeing, democracy in Jubilee.
Great. So, Rosa, do you agree?
Inconsistencies of Jubilee. I don't want to talk about it. It's
All right.
so clear.
Fantastic. Let's leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. This has been most fascinating. Will you come back on Sidebar soon, all of you?
Yes.
Excellent. Hopefully we make shorter points and we allow people to
And I'll ask them whether they've
taking.
taken their oath or not.
Especially for the samosas.
The samosas on Sidebar are the best. It's really the true highlight of the show.
But
Asanteni.
next time, make it early.
we have an 8 p.m. sidebar, but then you'll complain that we don't have enough time because there's a lot of commercials on that block. Okay, Ledama Olekina, Rosa Boyu, and Sabina Shege, Kipchumba Murkomen, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We're going to leave it there on sidebar. Next week, we're back at 8 p.m. and at 10 p.m. I'll be away, but Trevor Bija will be here. We'll have a great shoot with Tremendous, truly. There's no such a thing as traveling too much. All right, good night, everybody.